I wanted to focus on another aspect so you understand more of what you're getting and more of the bias that's going to go into the class. I took almost 4,500 hours worth of doctorate level courses. It's basically the same as medical school. So most people don't know that. They tend to think we get our degrees online in a weekend, but it's pretty strenuous. It's a lot of work. Lots of diagnosis and anatomy, orthopedics, advanced radiology. This article is one of my favorite articles out of Spine Journal. So this is a medical journal from September 2005. Now there's lots of articles like this. This is just one in particular. But if you'll take a look here, just going to read this right off the screen here. All measures of health status showed significantly poor scores as the C7 plumbline deviation increased. So really what this is saying is forward head posture. So if you look at this lateral view of the human spine, here's the cervical region, the thoracic region, lumbar and sacrum. From the side, it should look like this. This is your ideal posture. Now the significance is your spinal cord is inside of your spinal column, and the brain and the spinal cord function everything in our body. We'll get to nervous system stuff down the road, but just for now, I think we'll all agree that the brain and spinal cord and the nerves that branch off of the spinal cord innervate and literally function everything in our body, which means it's one of the most important systems that we have, the nervous system. So what this article is focusing on is as your spine, now look at this right here, this is like a hunchback, forward head posture, slouching kind of posture here. It says that all measures of health status showed significantly poor scores as the C7 plumbline deviation increased. So as your posture got worse, as the spine got worse, your health got worse. Look at this quote. There was a high degree of correlation between positive sagittal balance and adverse health scores for physical health and pain domains. So they were saying that, again, as your spine went out, the health scores and pain got worse. Here's another one. There was clear evidence of increased pain and decreased function, extremely important, and I want you guys to remember that. This is something we're going to build on. Increased pain and decreased function as the magnitude of this positive sagittal balance increase. So the worse your posture got, there was increased pain, decreased function. And then this study shows that although even mildly positive sagittal balance is somewhat detrimental, severity of symptoms increase in a linear fashion with progressive sagittal imbalance. What that's saying is as the posture got worse, as the spine got worse, the health scores, the symptoms, all that got worse. Of course, you may be asking why. Well, the answer is because you are choking the nervous system. You're decreasing the function at which the spinal cord and therefore the brain and the nerve roots and the nerves can actually do their job. So throughout this semester, you're going to hear a pretty strong bias. I'll be constantly coming back to this particular article because the brain and the spinal cord are very important for you to take care of. You take care of that, and then in return, it will take care of you to its maximum functional benefit. Okay, this is a summary of that article. Also, I want you to know that I do believe that part of healthcare and our industry, our healthcare industry and all that is money driven. I understand people should be compensated for their services. I get that. But I also think there's a fine line between strictly focusing on the money and quality of care going down, doing unnecessary surgeries and constantly filling prescriptions that don't need to be filled. American Medical Association, insurance and lawmakers constantly trying to increase their profits through the investments that they make behind the scenes with big pharma and so forth. And of course, as you probably know, pharmaceutical companies spend billions of dollars in advertising and building facilities and all the things they do through marketing and so forth. The model I like is this one. It should be about the patient, about the person, not about the money. And I do think that it takes many healthcare professionals to help. I don't think there's one particular profession that has it all and does it all. I think it does take a little bit of everybody. So in this wheel, you're seeing DCs and MDs, dentists, physical therapists, nurse practitioners, occupational therapy, PhDs, like your family counselors and other counselors, and so on. Obviously, this is not an exhaustive list, but you get the idea that depending on the need of the person, depends on where they go. And in my practice, I certainly have worked very hard to try to establish relationships with good practitioners that do what I don't do. So I'm more sports medicine, PT rehab, and functional medicine oriented. But, if someone needs surgeries or some sort of counseling and all that, I've got plenty of people to refer them to that I know and trust that do great work in those categories.